Hey everyone, this is the introduction video for part 2 of forgiveness and healing and everything I was talking about in part 1. Yes, I have a lot to say about this topic, so I had to split it up into 2 videos. But I hope you enjoyed part 1, and now I hope that you'll enjoy part 2. Thanks again for coming back. Enjoy. All right, so now I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to specifically victims and survivors. Now, you've already heard me say, as a victim, when victims, I was a victim. I don't consider myself a victim anymore. I was, most certainly. So when I speak about being a victim, it's in the past. But I say it that way to be able to connect with people who may still be going through it, or who may still feel like they are a victim because they haven't started their healing journey. And I totally get that. And that's okay. There's no judgment here for that. You will not find judgment. I did move into survivor mode. I was no longer operating in my what we call survival mode, which is you develop coping mechanisms in order to survive the abuse, in order to not be overtaken emotionally and physically by the trauma. And I know you've probably heard this with PTSD, if you're familiar with that at all. It's very similar, very, very similar. So I moved into being a survivor once I realized I didn't need those coping mechanisms anymore. I wasn't in survival mode. I was able to move into healthy mode, I guess, if you will, becoming healthy in my relationships and in who I am as a person. So if you are in that situation, I encourage you to keep asking yourself questions about why you feel the way that you feel and why you respond the way that you respond. Don't settle for poor responses from yourself. We did not deserve what happened to us. However, it did happen, and now we need to take responsibility to heal and take care of ourselves. Only we can do the actual work. And that is a part that we have to take responsibility for. Taking care of ourselves. Not the act, not the evil that was done to us, not the person who did the evil to us. We don't have any responsibility to them and to that. It's ourselves. It's what we need to do to heal and to move forward and be healthy in our relationships from now on. And I think that is where I want to really encourage. That's where I really want this to resonate, this message to people like that. You can do it. You can do it. You can heal. There are those of us who have been through it and who would love to show you what empathetic responses look like, what loving responses look like, and sit in the mess with you if we have to. Because we had someone come along and sit in the mess with us. I had somebody come along and sit in the mess with me. Many people. And that's why I'm here talking to you today. Because if I hadn't, I would not be here talking to you. I faced the edge. I was on that edge of that cliff of suicide a few times. And it's only because of the people I had around me that knew how to respond to me with empathy and love and understanding and patience that I came back away from that edge. So I get it. I really, really do. All right. It's scary to take the first step to reach out. I get that. But it's necessary. And I get that there's so many people out there who are sharing a message that it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen the way it's supposed to. for whatever reason, whether they didn't have people come around them, whether they didn't make space for people to come in around them, because this is what I'm getting to is what does our responsibility as survivors really look like? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's break that down just a little bit here. I know this is getting kind of lengthy, and this is why I'm not going to pursue talking about the news right now, because there's still so much here to talk about. I read a post on Facebook the other day that just kind of jumped out at me. This is only part of it I want to share with you. And it speaks to what I was just talking about, on how there are people out there who will tell you, no, it doesn't happen, and which will discourage you from taking this first step. They'll tell you that Jesus doesn't heal. Going to counseling doesn't work. It doesn't help. The people around you just will never understand. So there are those who are survivors who are saying those things, and I want to address that. And so here's the post I want to read to you. I'm sorry, not to be rude, but in reality, we know that Jesus does not automatically heal all broken lives, even when one devotes everything to him. Open parenthesis, I am a case in point, close parenthesis. More often than not, we have to live with our tribulations still. There is no promise that we won't have an awful life. Well, there is, but if we're being truthful, we know that's just not how things happen. All right. Whereas she says there's no promise that we won't have an awful life, she is sort of correct on that. No one's promised anything, right? The rain falls on the just and the unjust. So we live in a fallen world. How else can I put this? You know the things, everything that's said, but it's true. This is not a perfect world. Someday, I think we'll be living in a perfect world, but right now we are not. And so life happens. People get hurt. People die. Bad things happen. And so no, we are not guaranteed an escape from an awful life. I think that's a little extreme. We're not excluded from bad things happening, but it doesn't mean we have to have an awful life. I do not consider my life awful right now. And it's because of the hard work I've done. And again, I'm going to get back to that in just a moment. And she's right when they say Jesus does not automatically heal all broken lives. It is not an automatic thing. That's why I cannot agree with that statement, all we need is the Bible and Jesus, because that's what it makes it sound like. That's what it makes it sound like when they say all you need to do is forgive. It's a switch, done. Once you do that, it's done. And that's just not reality. It's not. Here's the kicker. Those of us who are survivors, we have to do the work. We have to take the step. It stinks. It's not fair because we didn't ask for this and we weren't the ones who brought this on ourselves, but it doesn't matter. We live in a fallen world. There are people all around us who do bad things. And when it affects us directly, that's the responsibility we need to take in the situation, is taking care of ourselves. We have to do the work. And it doesn't just happen. There's no magic switch. There's no special potion. There's no special pill, medication. There are some medications that will help with the process. I had to take some for a while, and that's okay, but it is not the fix. It is not. I thought of this analogy that may or may not help. I don't know. It sounded good in my head. We'll see how it sounds coming out. Let's say Jesus is sitting here beside me, or anyone sitting here beside me. And they hand me a set of keys. And, excuse me, my first thought is, well, what are these keys to? Oh, they're to a car. oh, well, a car will help me to go from A to B, and I've got to get from A to B today. So I need to pick up the keys. I need to get off my butt. I need to go out to the garage, open the door, the garage door, get in the car, start the car, back it out of the driveway. So I had to take the keys, get off my butt, open the door, start the car, open the garage door, reverse down the driveway, drive to point A, that's the word, drive to point A. 7 choices I had to make on my own. Do you see what I'm getting at? What good would it do if I'm handed a set of keys, it's saying it's mine, I'm given a set of keys, but I just leave them on the table? What good does it do? It doesn't do any good. You're not going to move forward. We have to take the steps, and we have to decide that we're going to get from point A to point B. So I don't know, for whatever that's worth, I hope it helps. I hope this clarifies more of what I think about forgiveness and what it means, and how important it is for survivors to take steps to heal, and how important it is for empathetic responses to come from those around them, from support people, because without that, the process can't start. You can only go so far in healing from abuse and trauma by yourself. You could go to counseling, you could do the work, but if you don't have people that come around you and encourage you on a daily basis in relationship, I don't think it would be very successful. I wouldn't have been very successful in it. So I encourage you to do that. And I encourage people to come around and learn how to support people, how to be supportive of someone that's been abused and is traumatized. All right? All right. Thanks for joining me. I am going to wrap this up now, and hopefully I'll be back shortly with another video talking about what's in the news, talking about what's been in the news, stories I was made aware of, and also things that are going on now. I need to find a few of the stories I'm thinking about in order to add them into that video, so I gotta do some research. But I hope you come back and you'll join me. So please like, subscribe, and comment. Again, if you're not comfortable with public comments, because that's unfortunately, if you comment on this video, it's a public comment, go to my website and fill out the contact form, because that is a private email to me. I'm the only one who will see it. So you could do that. And I really appreciate it, because I'd love to have more conversation. Please, I am praying that more victims, survivors, advocates will reach out and say, yes, let's have conversation. Let's do this. Let's make that shift together and start making a difference, so that future children can have less of a chance of anything like this happening to them. Okay? All right, everyone. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.